Hi, I am Nora from Nora Jane Fit, and today I wanted to do a quick video talking about how you can implement habits as a means of supporting you to accomplish your goals. So, we know that if you don't have a structured plan in place, there's a saying if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if you look at that in terms of habits, if you don't have behaviors that are set up where you are habitually doing something, irrespective of what is happening around you, irrespective of how you're feeling, then you know that you're more likely to succeed in whatever you are trying to accomplish. So, this is something that a lot of us don't tend to talk too much about within fitness. And I think it's really important in encouraging people to look at their current habits and what is supporting or taking away from where their end outcome is. So, for myself, I wanted to get into the habit of exercising daily. And I knew that there were certain things that, and it's still a work in progress because some days I just don't feel like doing it, even though I am a fitness professional. Like, I just want to rest, but I know that I have a specific goal that I'm working towards. So, in this particular respects, I know that rather than me setting a specific time each day to exercise, which for me, if I miss that time for whatever reason, it just demotivates me, and I'm like, I miss that time, that's it. I've changed my mindset around that, and I know that my goal is to exercise 6 days a week. So I go with the flow of the day, and once I fit my session in, whether it's first thing in the morning, in the middle of the day, or in the evening, I have accomplished that goal and I'm happy, and I've gotten into the habit of moving my body every day, bar one, because I believe that you need to rest. And that's been really good. So, in terms of creating habits, also looking at your mindset is super important. Are you somebody who you are so adhered to structure and you're so rigid that if you, for example, write your day out from 6 in the morning to 9 at night, you've got to be doing everything on the hour, at the hour, and if you don't, then it throws you off balance. So if you're like that, then it's good to consider changing your mindset and being a little bit more fluid. If you're somebody who has no structure and because of that you tend to forget to do things, then adapting a little bit more structure into your day would be beneficial. And obviously, you don't want to be at either extreme, you want to find the happy medium. Finding out and evaluating what your strengths and what your weaknesses here are would be really supportive and helpful for you. So for myself, again, I know that if I'm really tired, I would be less likely to exercise, especially if I've taught a class. And even though I've taught a class, a lot of the time you're still getting up to give instructions. You're not doing the full class per se. So what I did was I was very aware of how I was feeling throughout the day. So today, for example, I knew I finished teaching at 9 tonight, and I know that I've had a lot of things happen in the day that have mentally exhausted me. So after that class, I'm not going to do anything. So I've already exercised. I've already done my 45 minutes, which felt great in the garden, in the sun, barefoot grounding, connecting to the earth, and I've done that. So being able to be aware of you, what works for you, how are you feeling throughout the day, what points or what things will pull you back from accomplishing that goal, and that's within yourself. What self-talk do you have? So looking at your strengths and weaknesses, what strengths do you have that will support you? Are you disciplined? Are you highly motivated? Are you very committed? And your weaknesses, do you tend to get lazy? Do you procrastinate? Is there a lot of self-doubt? Now, once you have done that, putting a structure in place where you've organized your entire life so that nothing can take away from your goal. Nothing can take away from you committing to showing up every day to practice these behaviors until they become something that you do unconsciously, something that you just do like a robot, right? Because that's what really habits are. We just do these things without thinking. So what I found was really helpful was having a look at my life as a whole and creating structure in every element. So myself personally, with exercising, I looked, or even healthy eating, I made sure that, and I know that there are times when I don't adhere to this and I'm very susceptible to feeling. So for healthy eating, I made sure that I planned a menu. I had adequate funds when I went shopping so that I could get everything and more that I wanted. I knew what food supported my body. For example, staying away from gluten free, staying away from wheat free. Sorry, not staying away from, but making sure I wasn't having gluten based products or wheat based products was very handy in being able to get the right foods for my body, meaning that when I ate them, I didn't feel sick and I was less likely to want to crave junk. And making sure that I had the right cookware is really important, because if you want to try a dish and you don't have that, then that could sort of pull you away from that. And planning when I went shopping so I wasn't hungry when I went shopping and less likely to buy junk. So those are simple things that you can do around food. Around the home in general, making sure that your home, for me as well, was neat and tidy. I knew where everything was. And a lot of people think, oh my God, like that's basic stuff. But you'd be surprised when life becomes stressful and your goal might be seen as something that's superficial, right? Even though it's not, you might think in that time of survival that goal is superficial. When these things are not done, you are more likely to spend time doing those things than to focus on your goal. So for me, I took that into consideration and I made sure that my house is always clean, laundry was done, had clothes to wear, shoes were prepared in my gym bag when I was going to the gym, if not at home. And I had like snacks, healthy snacks in there, because when you train, sometimes you're really, really hungry after training, sorry. And that was the same thing at home as well. Making sure I had access to healthy foods was important. And not, a lot of times with nutritionists, they say healthy foods, really important, obviously, but I also believe in moderation. So if you have like a snack every now and then, fine. I love pizza. I will happily eat a pizza any day. So it's about, again, finding that balance. So when it comes to children as well, this is a huge one if you're a mom or parent, making sure that your children are so my daughter, she's a lot of hair, making sure her hair is combed before all of her uniforms are ironed, pressed and put away, school shoes prepared, homework done, all her school bags packed. That's super important. A separate lunch menu for her. And even now that we're in lockdown, like, it's still important to have an idea of what you can eat at home, and having a rough idea of a meal plan, so that you're not in the kitchen sort of throwing random bits together, but you're creating structured, healthy meals. I find that really helps in supporting your goals towards healthy eating and healthy living in terms of food and fitness. And another thing that's really important as well is getting into like a daily gratitude practice. So being, and for a long time I was just like, gratitude, like I'm already grateful, but like consciously and intentionally doing it, it makes everything just such a pleasure to do. So I, first thing in the morning, get up and I give thanks. Even sometimes before I leave bed, I will just lie down and say, I'm so happy and grateful and thankful for, and really feeling it and believing it and just being so super grateful, because there's so many people who just don't have, and I have to give thanks for that. And I think that's so important, that we acknowledge and we give thanks to God, to the higher power, to the universe, to Mother Nature, to whoever, for what we have. And I think that sets us up for having a positive attitude throughout the day, throughout the evening, no matter what life throws at us. And these again tie into habits, because when we've got a healthy, positive, gratuitous mindset, then we are encouraging ourselves, we're putting ourselves on a higher vibrational frequency, so that irrespective of what the day throws at us, we're going to have that focus and that confidence, that motivation internally to keep pushing towards our goal. So in my blog, I also spoke about writing down your ideal day, assessing your strengths and your weaknesses, making sure that everything was organized, so that if you were late or falling behind time, that you were still able to catch up with that without having to be stressed, and going with the flow. And another thing that I want to put in there is also having a support system as well. So my cousin and I are currently doing, I used to previously get up at like 3 in the morning religiously when I was doing my second master's to get my work done. And I fell out of that habit when I finished, because I just wanted to sleep because I was so tired. And now I realize that I do actually function best first thing in the morning, very early on in the morning as a mom, with all the things that I have to do. I can get that out of the way by getting up early and focusing on my daughter later on in the day. So Nicole and I we decided to, well, it was her idea really, to wake up at 5 in the morning. Every morning the alarm goes up. And I do the Mel Robinson 5 4 3 2 1 5-second rule. Sometimes, not every time, and I literally roll off the bed. And then some mornings I'm finding that I'm getting up naturally at 5. So having an accountability partner with these things is really important, because there's somebody doing it alongside you, to support you and to keep you on track. And then also knowing that in the process of creating habits, that you are likely to fall off track at times, and that's okay, and that happens. And it's not to look at it as failure, but look at it as feedback. So what happened to push me away from doing this one thing that I should have done that would help me create this behavior into habit? For me, if I was waking up late, I was going to bed too late the night before. Why? Was I stressed out? Was I overly tired? Was there something that I hadn't done that was playing on my mind mentally? So not looking at failure as failure, but as feedback, and understanding that you need to go with the flow and allow yourself, they say between 21 to 66 days minimum to be able to create a new habit. So allowing yourself that time. And I also want to say that in creating habits of healthier eating, holistic living, becoming more active, you've got to do these things in different ways. You've got to find ways where it's not just one method you try. You try and incorporate different things that feel good, that feel effortless. So it becomes, at the end of it, you want it to become sort of a habit, which is part of your life. So not just sticking to one method. So for example, with getting up at 5 in the morning, I could just do it by myself, but I know I'm likely to fail doing that. So I incorporate another method, which is accountability. So bringing my cousin into that. So that's a different way of doing something. And you can apply the same thing for fitness. If you know that you exercise well on your own, great. But if you know that you don't, then exercising with a group. Now there are tons of Zoom workouts or Instagram lives that you can join in. Getting a personal trainer, buddying up with a friend, or joining like a weight loss community, that's really good. When it comes to eating, creating habits, the one thing I would say, it's super important to understand what your body biologically needs. So I hope that's the right word. So for example, I found out that I am intolerant to gluten and to wheat and to flour, which is wheat, and to dairy, sugar. And I was eating these foods from time to time and not feeling great. And to have that confirmation that this is actually true is super helpful in knowing that, okay, now I can change my habits around food and make behaviors around food. So I go back to my menu planning. I go back to making sure that my kitchen cupboards are all clean. I go back to making sure that I've taken most of the junk out, because I like to have like my treat from time. I shouldn't even say treat, but I like to have like the odd sweet thing from time to time. So those are things that you can do to consider supporting healthy eating, going to a holistic practitioner and finding out what your body needs, what your body doesn't do well with, and then building your diet up from there. And then finally, I want to say, again, jotting everything down and tracking your progress. So tracking the behaviors that are working for you, tracking what's not working for you, and creating new systems that change as you're going along this process month by month. I think those are the main things. There was something that I was just going to say that sort of just flew out of my mind, but I'll just probably do another video on that. So I do want you to encourage you guys to look at your, this was it. So emotional cleansing and detoxing. So I knew that was something that I forgot. That's super important. So a lot of the times I think that we look at habits as something that we have to do or that we do unconsciously, but our emotions impact our behaviors. Our thoughts impact our emotions, which impact our behavior. So taking that time as we physically cleanse each day with a shower to also emotionally cleanse, and as you do your gratitude as well, to start your day off with positive intention, doing things like journaling, meditation, prayer, chakra balancing, things like that help your energetic system to align to a higher vibration where you're taking accountability for how you feel, but also equally so making the effort to detox yourself from things that are emotionally draining, or people or situations that are emotionally draining. Those are also going to impact on your behaviors, which will become habits as well. So looking at life as a whole, your fitness, your food, your home, how is your home set up to support your healthy habits? If you have a small home, is it clutter free? Is it minimalistic? Are you bringing in a lot of like plants and life and high energy things into your home? These are all going to support, believe it or not, your behaviors, which will impact your habits. So just to sum up, I want to encourage you guys, if you are starting off on this journey with health and fitness, to get a notepad or a diary, write down what you want to change, what habits you want to start developing, write down your strengths and your weaknesses, see if you need to have a support system, if there's anybody that can work with you on this, join a group, or if you're somebody who's independent and can do this on your own, make sure that you've got systems in place where, irrespective of what happens, you will stick to your plan, and give yourself that time to go through your new behaviors and allow for failure. Be fluid and flexible with how you're doing things, and daily emotionally cleanse yourself from what's happening in your world, whatever it is. And it's something that you must do every day, because just as we breathe and we live, we are energetic beings. We suck in so much energy, so it's really important to make sure that we're balancing ourselves energetically there. So there's a thorough blog on this you can read, but I hope this video was helpful. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to get back to you quickly. And I wish you a lovely and pleasant day ahead. Thanks for watching. Bye.